So, welcome back to this channel, guys. So, one more day left for the Stardust Memory Part 1. So, just a little reminder that this guy, you need to get him. So, before this go, I just want to remind you that this event has one of the best SSR pilot and also a really good unit. And I'm going to show you the actual pilot and the unit. So, from that stage, you will get the unit, this one. What is it? This one. Hey. Right? Yeah, Gundam GP01 FB. Now, this Gundam is really good, even though it can be only used on the space terrain, but his attack weapon is quite high with a weapon of power 4600, which if you watch my other videos, like I mentioned that you need to take note of units with weapon power 4500 above. So usually, like, for example, like an aerial Gundam, look at this, Gundam aerial, now this one, it has a power of 4500 attack. So that one is a little bit higher, just 100 number higher, but you can see the power creep there. And it's actually quite good. Look at it. The farther you are from the enemy, the greater weapon power increase. And if you upgrade it to the max, you can get this to up to 15% power increase, which is huge, which is okay. Like, this is a really good unit, especially when the ability is both increasing its attack. When HP is 75% of above, increase own attack by 15% and increase attack by 10%, which is also huge. You know, like, there are not many units that can increase attacks by this much. So in total, it's going to increase your attack by 25%. And it's really easy to get this HP condition. You just have to have HP above 75%. And it is you just gotta have to bring an attacker, a tanker unit just to protect him, and he will have full health, and it will always active all the time. And hence why this is a really good unit, and also it has a nice tag. Look at this. It is a UC series, lightning fast also, so you can put him in a lightning fast team. And also you can use him in a protagonist mission. So this is overall a really nice unit. But the best part is that the character, the pilot, is Kouraki, one of the best SSR range DPS pilot. So look at this. If you watch my other video, like I've already explained to you why I use Kouraki instead of a UR pilot when I'm riding a Casval Gundam. Look at this. The UR pilot, usually they have a high awaken stats. Look at this, high awaken stats. Camille, we don't have the highest here, awaken 970. So awaken stats. So all of the UR pilots mostly have awaken stats, except for certain pilots like this one, Ito Tsurugi, have higher melee stats, and Pepto Sirocco still awaken. This one, Setsuna, also melee stats. And for a tank, usually they either have defense or reaction. Now for Suleta Mercury, a very rare range UR pilot, which instead have a higher range stats than the awaken. But if you go to Kouraki, he has higher range stats. Now, he has even higher than, for example, this Charas Noble. Charas Noble has 595 range, while Kouraki have 624. Why is this important? Because when Charas Noble is riding his Sazabi, he's actually using his awakened stats, 876. But when you are riding the Casval Gundam, you use the range stats. You can see here, look at this. When you are riding a UR unit, your attack can use 3 stats, the range, the melee, and the awaken. So they gonna use one of the highest stats they can get in here. So if your pilot have higher melee stats, then when he uses this attack, he gonna use the melee stats. If your pilot have higher awakened stats, then he gonna use the awakened stats from your pilot when using this weapon. But when using this weapon, like look at this, melee range awaken, when using the melee weapon, you're gonna use the melee stats of the pilot. If you attack using the range one, you're gonna use the range stats of the pilot. And same thing for the awaken. When you attack with awaken, you're gonna use the awaken stats of the pilot. So when riding this unit, definitely Charas Noble gonna be a much better option than using Kouraki. But when you are using the Casval Gundam here, as you can already guess, the weapon only able to use the range stats. Hence why the SSR pilot sometimes is better when riding this unit compared to the UR pilot. This is the case because the Casval Gundam came from the SSR unit. It is an upgraded unit. So it doesn't come with a built-in EX skill. So you need to follow the stats that they use when they are trying to attack using that weapon, using that Gundam. So there are a rare case for some units that they can actually use the awakened stats. Look at this, like this one. The Qbeli ZZ and also I think the other Qbeli also use awakened stats. So when you are using this unit, then using the UR pilot will result in a higher damage than you actually using an SSR pilot. But it also depends on the SSR pilot. There are some cases of SSR pilot that have a higher awakened stats, but it definitely is not going to be higher than the UR pilot. So you can see here Kouraki have high range stats. The Rondo Ginasaku have a balanced stats here. Then this one, Amate Zuriha, have higher melee stats. And this one is awakened. This one awakened. Now this one also melee. But again, one thing that you need to take note is also the character skills. Like I always said, I value MP up character skills by a lot because it increases your damage by a lot. I'm gonna show you one video that I have that showcase the damage of Kouraki and then the Charas Nebel and also Camille Bidan if they are compared side by side. Look at this. This is Kouraki using the Casval Gundam, and if I attack this guy, the Queen Manta, it is getting support defense by the Psycho Gundam, but we can just compare the same damage. So without any buffs, my Kouraki deals 16,200 damage there, and if I increase the using buff of attack burst level 3, then I can increase the damage to 18,300 there. And if I increase it further by MP up, this is where the difference comes from. Look at this. The Vigor up increased damage by 10%, 20%, and then 30%. And this is huge. Because if you finally attack the enemy here, you can get as high as 22,500 damage in here. That is the damage coming from MP up. So I always value MP up ability a lot higher, and it is such a rare skill. So now if you watch here, I using Charas Nebel in here, and without any buff, he deal 15,500 damage. So I've already explained to you, this is because the Casval Gundam uses the Charas Nebel's range stats instead of the awakened stats, and hence why he has lower range stats than the Kouraki. And even with the attack burst level 4, I think just now, it increased the damage to 18,200 damage, which is still a little bit lower than the Kouraki. And that's why the Kouraki is a better pilot when riding the Casval Gundam, or maybe other other SSR unit. Now this one using Camille Bidan, we know that Camille Bidan is a newer pilot. It has a higher stats than the Charas Nebel, but still, because it uses his range stats, it deals 16,000 damage. It is higher than the Charas Nebel, but it is still lower than Kouraki. And because Camille Bidan's skill is a critical rate up by 50%, it is not showed here how much damage you're gonna deal if you actually manage to deal a critical damage. So that's what I want to show you guys with the damage. And thus, just a little reminder that Kouraki is one of the best ranged DPS SSR pilot currently that we can have in this game. So don't miss him, don't miss out on this event, and try to get him from the medal supplier in here. I know it's a little bit late. I only remind you like on the last day. But if you can get him, like he's not that far, like 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. You only need to reset 3 times just to get the Kouraki. Like even if you don't get the Gundam GP01 FB, it is okay. The most important thing is the pilot, because the pilot can just ride any other units, and the Gundam GP01 can just be replaced with any other Gundam, like the Gundam Ariel, or you can use the Freedom Gundam or any other Gundam, But the Kouaraki is irreplaceable. Try to get him before he is gone, which is only 1 day away. Try to grind him right now, okay? So, among these units, like this is Kouaraki, the strongest ranged SSR DPS pilot, and we have the melee version, which is Nyan. Nyan is the strongest melee DPS pilot in this game. So if you actually use the melee Gundam, then use the Nyan, and we also have especially, I have the Enil L here for a range critical DPS pilot. So if I have like Gundam, like for example, like full armor double Z Gundam or the Gundam Geminas or any other Gundam that deals critical damage, because this game doesn't have a built-in critical rate, so you can only deal critical damage consistently if you use a critical rate pilot, and this one is the range critical damage pilot. And we also have Amida Arca, which is also a range pilot, but it has a sway, which is very important. If you do want to clear expert stage missions, you do need to have sway to throw in 1 extra damage to your enemy. And look at this. The range stats of Amida Arca at level 89 is 695 range stats, which is even higher than Kouaraki. Look at this. This is 596. This one has melee 573, and Kouaraki only has 624. So yeah, if you do need sway, Amida Arca is really, really good. Look at this, a really high range stat. So just a little reminder for that, grind this before it is gone. And again, I'm gonna see you in the next update and also the next event. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.